You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
In the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Darnold fires one into the end zone. It is caught. That's a Jet touchdown.
And now here is your host, CJ the Painkiller, D. Simone, and Kevin Jackson.
What's going on, Jets Nation? Welcome to another edition of Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network and Sports World Radio. I'm your host, CJ the Painkiller, D. Simone, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, my partner in crime, and one of my very best friends. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kevin Jackson!
You know what time it is. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, these intros are crazy, man. I love these. I love these intros. You have no idea. Like literally, I just want to rip my shirt off and run down like the Ultimate Warrior. Another episode of Weapons. Team, and I'm gonna look. I'm saying another episode of Weapons Hot, man. We've got some interesting things to discuss. Obviously, few moves that I think are or maybe have some impact on the team. Interesting, but it's going to probably quiet down. We'll have that at least for the next couple of weeks anyway. We'll start to get some more team stuff, and maybe we'll have some more actual news to discuss. But right now, I'm excited about what we got. Let's get it in. Let's go. Weapons hot. Let's go.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, it's also time for us to bring in our very special guest. I've got some music queued up for him. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to announce the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. NYSF Magazine, formerly known as NYJF Magazine. Put your hands together for Mr. Jason Capel!
It is quite an intro, man. Definitely quite an intro.
What's going on, Jason? How are you tonight?
Everything's good, man. Actually, I am the artist formerly known as NYSF Magazine. My boy Kevin Serkin's now running the magazine. I am no longer with the magazine. I'm actually Jason Capel of Vayner Media nowadays, working for hopefully the future owner of the New York Jets, Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Very, very nice. So, Jason, really quick, this is your first time being on Weapons Hot. I know that you're a veteran. You've been on a couple of the podcasts that I've had in the past, both the CNC Football Factory and also the Jets Factor podcast. So there are some of our fans who actually know who you are, but we have a lot of new listeners who really have probably not even heard of you yet, which to me I find very hard to believe. But, that's just me. Anyhow, why don't you tell the world and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, me and CJ go way back, man. I remember in 2014 when I was on the show, so he could call me an idiot, which was awesome. And then we became friends after that. But he didn't love what I was doing in 2014. So the way I got started in this whole crazy Jets media world was in 2014 after Geno Smith threw those 3 first-half interceptions against the Bills, and the Jets were in full meltdown mode. I was in full fan meltdown mode. And in the middle of the night –
I think as all of us were.
Yeah. And in the middle, actually, after Idzik's infamous press conference the next day, I was in a group chat with my Jet fan friends, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get this guy fired as a joke. I wasn't even being serious. And I put as a follow-up to the joke, I put up in 10 minutes a quick website called firejohnidzik.com. And the goal of it was to put a billboard up outside of the stadium. I never thought it would actually work. I posted the thing on the Jet Nation website. And within 24 hours, got a call from Christian Dyer, said he wanted to cover, the story and give me a chance to talk about the mission of the website. I put up which I did, and then and we did the story. Within 24 hours after that, Brian Costello from the New York Post reached out to me, and he said the same thing. He wanted to cover it, and within a week, we had $20,000 to fund an entire campaign from crowdsourced from Jet fans throughout the world to fly planes and billboards and shirts and all the other stuff that we did. And John Idzik got fired. And then after that was done, I had this platform that I built on Twitter and Instagram and everything. And wanted to try and do some good with it. So put a website together called nyjetsfans.com. Your two hosts over here, CJ and Kev, are wearing shirts from those days. We had a lot of fun with the players, and some of the players. We did some shirts, we did podcasts and TV shows, and all kinds of really fun stuff. And we covered the team for a whole bunch of years. In 2018, we transitioned to not just covering the Jets, but covering all New York sports, and changing from New York Jets fans to New York sports fans, and was doing that until recently when I linked up with my friends over at VaynerMedia. Now I'm actually working for them, and Kevin's going to do a great job with running the NYSF brand going forward. And I'm here to assist him any way I can.
That's awesome.
That's awesome right there.
That's phenomenal, really. Kev, I'm sure it's in good hands with Kev over there. I'm really interested in your move to what it is that you're going to be doing now. Gary obviously is a big name. Obviously we've been hearing him, in the talks, behind the scenes about if he might have some potential ownership possibilities. And then with all the stuff with Woody Johnson going on, we'll probably talk about that later. But what are you going to be doing? I mean, how do you expand? I mean, to order of possession, you move from doing a phenomenal job with where it is that you work to go into something that is kind of already doing big stuff. I mean, what's it going to be for you?
Right. Well, so it's funny. I mean, in these crazy times we're living in, especially I'm with CJ down here in Florida. So it's rough, man. It's when all this stuff dropped in March, I had three things going on. Besides doing the magazine, I also owned a printing company, and that company was basically on hold because most of my clients were bars and restaurants, and that I've been working with for over a decade, and they're kind of all either shut down or really limited with how many people they're serving. They don't have really any money to spend right now. Yeah. So that sucked. And then I also do consulting down here in Florida I did consulting down here in Florida for an events company named Photo Boys. They do a lot of, large scale events. I don't know if you saw on my social media, but it was, we did the Kansas City Chiefs post game party and everything. That was amazing. And, we did a lot of really big high end stuff, but there's no events and there's no parties right now. So, I mean, we are, and then my third thing was the magazine, and there was no sports for all these months. So I had nothing to do. And, I tried, you got to hustle, right. And come up with ways to make ends meet. Yeah. And, I started doing some paintings, anything I could, use my artistic talents. And then one day I saw, because I'd had some interaction with Gary in the past. I've tailgated with him. We've done a few things. As far as some Jet stuff, I've seen him at some events and stuff like that. And his this guy Tyler that works with him had put up that they were looking for some help with social media and design. And since I had that skill, it's always been a dream of mine to work for Vayner. I really connect with a lot of things besides the fact that almost the entire management team over there is huge diehard sick nut Jet fans like us.
Right.
So you have that in common. It's one of the best. It's one of the best agencies, if not the best, in the country, if not the world. Yeah. And the opportunity to work with those guys, with all the big things that they're doing over there, was something I couldn't pass up on. Tough to give up the magazine. It was I put a lot of time and effort into that thing, and I certainly. I love doing it. But at the end of the day, I think that it's important to remember, as I was talking about with CJ before we jumped on, that outside of the football and the sports world, like there's a real world out there that, you got to look out for yourself and do what's best for yourself. I just feel like if I look at myself 5 years from now, where I'm going to be with NYSF magazine compared to where I'd be with Vayner, I mean, it's a no brainer. I mean, those guys are doing huge things, and the opportunity to kind of work my way in there and hopefully, impress them and work my way up and do some things. I mean, who knows? Hopefully Gary will buy the team one day and make me team president by that.
Hey, listen, as long as we could get Daniel Kelly as one of the pro scouts, I'll totally be on board with that.
Right.
Well, look, I mean, the team needs help, and sign me up for a self-made guy who loves this team to be in charge of a guy who's proven that he can hire, that he can find talent and he can build something real, rather than the the offspring of a their grandfather Johnson. Their grandfather was a genius, but Woody Johnson and Chris Johnson are far from being geniuses, man. And I think we're really suffering a lot as the further away that we get removed from the stamp that Bill Parcells put on this organization from 98 to 2001 and the 10 years about that we got after that, where he kind of fixed this thing. The further removed we get from it, man, to me, I feel like the worse things get. Now, hopefully Joe Douglas is the right guy, right? But
we all hope so.
An end to that, but I would love to see Gary buy this team. I think that would be an amazing thing for the Jets and amazing. But that's a dream of his, and he's pretty far off from that. I think at this point. I mean, it's the Jets are worth like $4 billion at this point, and I know Gary doesn't have $4 billion, so. I hope he gets there. He's making big moves every year, and he's gone from zero to where he's at right now in a short amount of time. So if he can continue on that upward trajectory, who knows? Maybe he'll be able to fulfill his dream one day, and I support him. I hope he does.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, guys, time to jump into the deep end of the pool. Obviously, we're going to start off with a headline that kind of caught my eye a little bit. Josh Doctson, he opts out. No surprise there, but what kind of really struck me as a little bit spectacular about this story, for lack of a better term, is the fact that he's actually opting out, not just because he's worried about COVID, but he also wants to take this time to go to Africa to do some missionary work. So, which I think I've never heard of that. I think that's actually really, really awesome on his part, because it's showing that he wants to use his platform to do some philanthropic good, which is that's huge in my opinion. So I wanted to get your thoughts. Jason, we'll start with you and then we'll circle around to Jax.
Yeah, look, man, I think that with what's gone on for these last 5 months, that people have really kind of taken a chance to step back and really reassess what's important to them, right? I mean, I did it. I mean, as I just said before, I mean, there's a whole world out there outside of the sports realm. And to me, like, a guy like Josh Doctson, I mean, I don't know how much money he's earned in his career. I got to imagine it's enough that he can live on for the rest of his life. I mean, if invested wisely and properly, I mean, he's got to have a few $1 million in the bank. If he chooses to use his time to better the world instead of to play sports, I mean, how could anybody hate on that, right? I mean, that's a wonderful thing that he's doing. If that's how he's going to be feeling more fulfilled as a person, and he thinks that's the right thing for him to do, man, that's how I feel about all these guys who are opting out. I mean, as much as it sucks as for us as sports fans to see like C.J. Mosley opt out of his contract, he's got a 1-year-old kid at home. If he's concerned that that his kid is if that puts his kid even 1%, I mean, look, all of us, if you have a loved one, that. And you're concerned that doing something is even going to put an extra 1% chance of causing any kind of harm to your wife, your kid, whoever. I mean, why, as far as I'm concerned, if you have enough money to live the rest of your life and to be happy, and that's what you want to do to make you happy, it's not up to you to make fans happy. Like that's what fans got to realize. They got to do what's best for themselves and to do what's best for their life. So I support all those guys that opt out. I don't love it as a fan because I'm like, damn, we didn't see C.J. Mosley play last year. We gave him a lot of money, and now this year he's going to be out too. So who knows what he's even going to be next year if he comes back after being out of the league for basically not playing football for 3 years. But I mean, we all got to take a step back and say, hey, man, God bless. Do your thing.
Absolutely. Right, exactly.
These are unprecedented times, right? I mean, we haven't had anything like this happen. Maybe some aspects of what it is that we see going on are going to be normal for what it is that is going to happen going forward. But something like this in particular, I mean, really, how do you question it? I mean, I'm not going to be that guy that, that tries to point my finger and says that, hell no, he should be playing. These are maybe more than others, or maybe in this case, maybe into more than some others, this might be a mental health thing, and I don't necessarily mean he's got issues, but this is a time where, I mean, you take the time, and if he's going to go do something and put his heart and put his hands into something that's going to help someone and that makes him feel better, understanding what it is that he's risking, not just here, but also there. I mean, it's not like he's going someplace where there's still no risk. I guess the idea behind it is, to take the time. This is going to be a time where, more often than not, people are believing that the season might not even make it all the way to the end. We might get a few games and they might shut it down. So, why put something like this off if you, especially with whatever limited, what is it? There is something that he's going to end up still getting under his contract. He's going to still get some sort of money. Even if it is just a small amount. And to Jason's point, he's probably got enough anyway. It doesn't make a difference. But this particular case, I don't know. The reason that he gave is it makes it hard to question. But as far as the team is concerned, and his position in what is going to be a really kind of a tight, kind of hierarchy at the top there, or to try to get in, which is where he's at. That's going to be difficult. There's going to be some guys that are going to step in and do something. And this is just me even spitballing now about the business side because, the personal side, there's no way I can question that. The business side, I don't know. It is a business decision. It's difficult to see how it plays out because we're going to have some guys. There's going to be some free agent guys. There's going to be some movement. There may be some injuries. There could be a lot of things that happen. This is difficult. I like Josh Doctson. I thought he really had a chance. As of right now, we don't know where this leaves. We don't know where it leaves the team. But obviously, there's no way to question his motives and what it is that he's trying to do.
Right, Kev. I'm just curious on something though. Do you think that like Josh Doctson, a guy like that? There was no guarantee he was even going to make the roster, right?
Exactly.
A guy like Josh Doctson. So you would think it's different for a guy like Mosley, who has enough money now at this point with his signing bonus and all the money made in Baltimore and everything, where he can sit back comfortably and live the rest of his life. A guy like Josh Doctson, is not in the same position as C.J. Mosley. So to me, it's more not surprising when you see a guy like that who, they just traded for, who was at the back end of that, depth chart at the wide receiver position. Yeah. And also at the same time had a real serious opportunity because of the lack of depth on our depth chart to not only crack the lineup but make a name for himself and then parlay that into a lot of money potentially.
Exactly.
So you have to really, as far as I'm concerned, really almost respect where he's coming from, where he's willing to forgive all that, in order to go and do something that's in his heart that he thinks is the right thing to do. My God, that's.
And that again, that's the point. It's a business decision, but obviously we're human beings, first and foremost. And that's a human reason, you know what I'm saying? Really,
right? It definitely won't help him crack any lineups anytime. So that's for sure.
That's what I said. Yeah. It's a questionable business decision, right? It's a questionable business decision. I think that's the point that we're making because
no doubt.
His opportunity it's big. Him staying is big now, and we'll probably end up talking about this later. That gives more opportunities for Lawrence Cager. That gives more opportunities for Campbell. Gives more opportunities for maybe some young guy that we might not even know his name who might come into practice and
a really Robbie Anderson type.
Exactly.
Right.
So, it's a questionable business decision, but you can't question the heart in him making the choice.
Yeah, you ain't kidding about that. That was actually going to be my next question. Believe it or not, you guys kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but now does this kind of open the door for a Lawrence Cager, a Campbell, or, like you guys had said, to now come in and crack this roster? I know that last year we were talking about Braxton Berrios. We were also talking about Vincent Smith. So, a couple good speedsters that made their impressions toward the end of this year. And hopefully we start to see them continue to grow, because one of the biggest things that's always been an issue with the New York Jets franchise is being able to actually harness and build and retain their homegrown talent. So obviously we saw that in the Jamal Adams situation, but now as we kind of turn our attention toward the wide receiver room, whereas now you have a Jamison Crowder, you've got a Denzel Mims, you've got a Brashard Perryman. Who's the next three that you guys see, or the next two that you guys see rounding out that top five?
Yeah, I'll let Jason knock this on. I have a kind of a quick point on this, but go ahead, Jason, please.
I think you already named the names that I'm thinking. Berrios, Vincent Smith, and then you could get a guy like Cager in, maybe on the practice squad or something, to work his way into the lineup. Because it's a lot of it's going to depend also, I think, on specials, right? When you get to that part of the roster, it's the guys who really show up and show out on special teams that usually get a place. Because he had what's his name? I can't believe I forgot his name. He was our special. He was a special teams beast for the last couple of years. Why was Sharon Peak? So, like a guy like Sharon Peak, that guy, he didn't really do very much at all as a wide receiver, but he stuck around the roster for a few years, on the depth chart as a wide receiver because he was a good special teams player. So, those type of guys are going to need a guy like Cager. He's going to crack the roster, I think, if he can go out on special teams and become a beast. And then, if he gets an opportunity as a wide receiver, and he can, make a couple catches or something, then he could work his way up that, up on that way. But I think that Vincent Smith and Berrios are going to get a real opportunity. I think, I like what Berrios brings on specials. I liked a couple flashes. I mean, I think about, that one catch that he had where it was on a slant. He wound up going about 78 yards, got tackled on the 1 yard line. But still, I mean, I also liked what I saw of him in Miami. So I think that he's kind of, he's a little sneaky kind of type of guy that I think could be a good slot guy. I know we already have Crowder in the slot, but I think that Berrios can definitely be a number 5 guy. Maybe Vincent Smith at the 4, and then Cager if he can stick around. Now, again, that could all change. I mean, but the problem is this year's a little weird, right? I mean, a lot weird because there's no training camp real. I mean, there's training camp, but there's no massive opportunities to really show up in preseason games like what a Robbie Anderson was able to do in his, first year here when he was basically making ridiculous catches every preseason game and played his way onto the roster with Bryce Petty. But that guys aren't going to have that opportunity. So it's going to be tough, man, for a young, undrafted free agent to come in here and make that kind of impact right away.
Yeah. There's a reason why I wanted you to go first because I mean you knocked it out of the park, obviously, and you kind of just put some nuance onto something that really I just was going to try to say succinctly. The reason why when we were talking about Doctson not coming or deciding to opt out was because we have no clue really right now. I mean, really think about it. I mean, we've got a lot of guys who, have touted upside. They're fast, they're long or in Berrios' case, he's multi-faceted because he has a special teams experience. And to Jason's point again, he did flash, but none of that, we have no idea who these guys are at all. And this was an opportunity. If they do the expanded rosters, and I mean, I know I don't know if the 80-man thing is really going to be what it exactly is when we come to. But if they do that, then how many more guys get opportunities, and then how many of those guys get bumped out? How many are we going to see them make a move for Demaryius Thomas like we kind of hear them kicking around because of his relationship with Gase? I don't necessarily like that move, but I will say this: because of the difficulties that we're having with no preseason and all of that, or not much, practice time, Demaryius Thomas is a smart business decision, and I think Joe Douglas would be stupid to not consider that. I mean, I don't have to like it; it's not an emotional thing for me. But what this kind of does is it still kind of opens up an opportunity for those first few guys to really solidify themselves, early. With the Brashad Perriman, with the Mims, with the Crowder. Hopefully, and prayerfully, I'm gonna keep all of my fingers, all of my toes crossed that Herndon comes back and does what it is that we were expecting to see him do, because that, to me, again, I think CJ, you've been hearing me say this, that is probably the biggest X factor right behind the offensive line, because that move that option, I mean, wow, it really kind of opens up so many things. So, there's some question marks with the depth. It's going to be difficult to kind of do as much as what Joe Douglas needed to do as far as the depth is concerned at every position. We've seen him do it with the cornerbacks as of right now. We've seen him do it with the linebackers, the defensive line. We've got depth in those positions. Actually, our tight ends are probably, if they can all stay healthy, that's probably the strongest positional group on the team, in my opinion.
Could be really good.
They really could. I mean, really, Herndon, Griffin, and
Daniel Brown, yeah.
Exactly.
Daniel Brown.
Those guys all have talent, and they all can get open. Listen, we're seeing the makings. Really, what it is that we just need to see some of the small stuff. I don't want to get too far off the subject, but yeah, Doxson being gone right now, it really it opens up a lot. But everything is kind of wide open in that room anyway.
Absolutely. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network and Sports War Radio. This is CJ, the Painkiller D. Simone over here, Mr. Kevin Jackson over there, our special guest host, Mr. Jason Capel, as we continue on tonight's show. Another topic of conversation that I wanted to put out there, James Burgess put on the COVID-19 reserve list. We don't know for sure if he has in fact tested positive for COVID-19 or he was in fact exposed to someone that possibly tested positive or has COVID-19. So the New York Jets taking no chances, putting him on the COVID-19 reserve list. Thoughts about that? And do you think that could possibly hamper his ability to crack the starting lineup? Kevin, we'll start with you and then we'll circle back around to Jason.
No, I don't think Burgess was going to start anyway. I mean, he's a really good player. I'm just going to keep it real. He's a really good player. But just to hit that first, I'm not sure if in the cards. He's capable. I'll just put it that way because he's really a solid linebacker. But I don't know. As far as the COVID-19, the COVID aspect of it, I took an online course for contact tracing just because I kind of wanted to dig and I had some time. Okay, really, it took me a few hours, wasn't that big deal, but it gave me some insight into how everything works and all of the jargon and everything else is surrounded by it. So with something like this, if he's exposed and really he's really got a short window before he has to be locked away, or he's going to affect more people. If he's come into contact and somebody, it's a really strong possibility, then I think it's a smart move for them to do it immediately, even if he's not. Because if he is, then you've obviously you've got a problem. Affecting his play, I mean, how long does he have to be out? I mean, I please refresh my memory on that. I mean, it's not like he's
2 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
it's a 14-day quarantine, and he has to test. He has to test negative on 2 consecutive.
That's right, and no fevers. I just wasn't sure what the time frame was on that, or what the league time frame was on it, because I know it's the 14 days or the testing. So 2 weeks isn't bad for him specifically because he's got experience. You know what I'm saying? He's been here. It's not like the guy doesn't know what it is that we're doing. Actually, he's probably, he's much further ahead than somebody else that's coming in from behind him. He would have probably been just functionally more ahead of where C.J. Mosley was even coming back, being gone out for the year. So, it's a good opportunity for him to hit the books, and maybe when he comes back stronger, more grounded in the playbook. But as far as him having to sit out, I don't think that's a big deal.
All right, Jason, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, he pretty much hit it on the head. I don't think that it's really a concern unless. See, where it comes in is if he had COVID, we don't know that. But if he does have it, that could create issues, obviously, with the lungs and with his conditioning and his ability to go out there and play, even after he no longer has it. I mean, you hear all kinds of crazy things on the news about the effect that it has on your lungs and on your breathing and all that stuff. So, like my cousin got it down here. He was over my place. I've been around so few people, and I've been really careful who I've been around. My cousin and I spent a lot of time together, lives down here, and he came over on July 4th. And then 2 days later, we spent the day together. And then 2 days later, he called me up and he said, "Guess what, dude? I have COVID. I'm really sick." I was like, "Shit!" So I had to quarantine myself for 2 weeks and stay away from everybody, just like these guys are doing. Now, I didn't get it, which was good, obviously. But he's still on an inhaler. He's got all kinds of breathing issues and everything afterwards. So you got to be obviously really careful. If he's just, was around somebody and they're just using an abundance of caution, I don't think it's going to make any difference to whether or not, he is able to get in his full off season. Because I mean, really, what are they doing right now anyway? I mean, it's not, it's nothing really all that intense. It's not like he's a new guy that came in off the street and doesn't know the system and all that stuff. And he's back for year 2 in the same system. So he should be all right. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not a positive test, right? That's the point. If we just hope it's not a positive test.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that, with with Burgess now being sidelined, undergoing the COVID quarantine protocol, it could potentially open the door for another spot. I don't think he's going to lose his roster spot or anything like that, but it will give the Jets an opportunity to explore some other linebackers at that particular position to see exactly what they bring to the table. So, I mean, it's going to be hit or miss. This is definitely going to be something that we're not used to seeing. So it's very interesting circumstances, so to speak. And it's going to be curious to see how the Jets coaching staff adapts to the challenge. So now we get to switch gears to the offensive line. It's something that we've been talking about pretty much all off season.
10 years we've been talking about it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Every season, it's like 10 years.
It feels like forever we've been talking about this damn thing. All right, so first off, Brian Winters, after he was released last week, he ends up signing a deal with the Buffalo Bills. Thoughts on that? Should we be concerned? Yes or no? We'll start with Jason, then we'll go back to Jax.
Brian's a great dude. Done a lot of work with Brian. Did some T-shirts with him. Knew his family really well. Had a lot of talks with him behind the scene. Guy was on my TV show with the Winters Report every week. That loved Brian Winters as a person. Loved him. Thought he was a warrior. Played with a torn pec. I mean, I don't know if people understand the pain that he was in when he was playing. Like he wanted to play so badly that he literally had a torn pec. So like he was having trouble breathing. He couldn't sleep at night, but he would go out there and play an NFL game and play offensive line. To me, that kind of warrior, you can do nothing but wish that guy, nothing but the best. I mean, he had some injury issues while he was here. But look, we don't get too many guys here that a third round draft pick that plays his way into a second contract, that plays well enough, that sticks around for a little while. So all my thoughts and best wishes and everything are with Brian in Buffalo. I hope they go 14-2, but lose to the Jets twice and we go 16-0. That's how much I'm going to be rooting for Brian, but I'm not surprised he got cut. I mean, they spent all this money and all this and used all these resources, a first round draft pick, to upgrade the offensive line. Brian, they are a rebuilding team with a young quarterback with, they're trying to build this the right way from the lineup. And that's what, got us in position in 2009, 2010 to compete for, the AFC Championship and everything, where, we drafted Brick, we drafted Mangold, and it's about damn time that a GM stepped up to the plate and did what needed to be done to fix this offensive line. So Brian Winters being gone, though I love the guy, unfortunately, is collateral damage at this point. He's not, it's not like we're losing, like I said to you earlier, CJ, it's not like we're losing prime, Nick Mangold or prime DeBrickshaw Ferguson from the offensive line. Yeah. We're losing Brian Winters at what is most likely the last couple of years of his career, and we're hoping that we have an upgrade. The guy was a solid player. Not every guy that you draft, not every guy that you bring in is going to be an all-pro. They're not going to be a Hall of Famer. You need to fill out your roster with solid pros. And Brian Winters was a solid pro. So, I wish the guy nothing but the best. But I'm not, it sucks to see him go, especially because of my personal relationship with him. But, I think he'll do fine in Buffalo, with what they're expecting out of him. And I think that we'll be fine without him.
All right, Kev, you're up.
Great. No, Jason again is on point. I've been hard on Brian Winters, and listen, kind of Jason reminds me that the injury issue has been difficult, and he's played through a lot of that. As somebody that's played the game, I know how that kind of can be. So, the respect for Brian Winters. Buffalo has kind of a way of bringing kind of older retrade guys in and really kind of making them part of a foundationally solid line. You feel me? Like, I mean, they have a pretty good offensive line, and I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to go in and blow up, but I think, it ends up being where if he can fill the role for them, like what it is that we were hoping that it would be, just be a solid backup, functional and capable of being able to, contribute when necessary, then I think it'll be good for him. And it could possibly be good for them also. But him being gone, no, I'm thankful he's gone now, to be honest with you. That's what I say. I've been harsh on him, but I'm thankful that he's gone because, again, to Jason's point now, hopefully the guys that we have are just better than that. That's kind of the point, right? We just hope that the guys are better than that. And if they are, then we're in good shape.
I happen to love the irony that the first guy they cut once they brought in Winters was Spencer Long. You know, it's kind of almost like a similar type of situation. Now, I'm not comparing Brian Winters to Spencer Long in any way because obviously I think Brian Winters was a lot better player than Spencer Long was, but it just happens to be like that same type of vibe where like, you know, we seem to like in the AFC East, especially among the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets, we love each other's retreads, whether it's coaches, GMs, offensive linemen, whatever it is. We the Dolphins cut them, we want them. The Bills cut them, the Dolphins want them. We cut them, it's just it's like a cycle. But hey, man, listen, Brian, I wish Brian the best, man. I hope that everything works out with him and his family and everything because he's a good dude, man. He's definitely a really good dude.
Okay. Well, basically, just my opinion on the whole Brian Winters scenario is that, you know, at least we're not going to have to worry about him having another torn pectoral muscle and having to play Iron Man, trying to go out there and give 50% when, you know,
when it hurts us a little bit,
right? Exactly. So I mean, you know, at this point, if you would have put a traffic cone out there, and it would have actually been a lot better. But you know, I mean, no disrespect to Brian Winters, he did well when he was here. But what I found comical was the Buffalo Bills fan base, you know, writing to the New York Jets fan base, laughing at us, saying that we basically gave up our most fundamentally sound offensive lineman. And I just about spit my coffee out of my mouth in hysterical laughter. And I think I responded to some dude on Twitter like, yeah, enjoy his constantly torn abdominal muscle and his other torn pectoral muscle. I'm I'm sure when he gets up there, he's going to tail a gluteal muscle, and you know then he'll just get the tear hat trick. But
CJ, we're all guilty of that though, right? Like everybody thinks that like the guy that we cut is a bum. And the guy that we sign is a stud, even though the fan base of whoever the hell it is that we signed from is going to come onto our Twitter or whatever and say that guy sucked. You guys are overrating him. He was garbage. So like the same thing that we did once we loved Jamal while he was here, right? And then once we traded him to Seattle, our Jet fans were all over. Oh, enjoy that bum. That guy's a locker room cancer. Blah blah blah. Right. So I mean, it's the same thing we all do as fans, man. You know, we're gonna pump up our guy and on the way in, and we're gonna talk trash about him on the way out.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's standard fare for us.
Yeah, that's just the plight of just being a football fan, basically, especially when, you know, you have a guy who played for you and he signs within the division. Now, if he would have went to the NFC, I really don't think anybody would have gave a damn. But you know, that's just the fact that, you know, Buffalo Bills fans felt the need to pick up their Twitter handle. You know, the keyboard warriors. They all went, okay, it's time for us to shine.
Buffalo fans got their own problems because they got a running back playing quarterback, and now they got Brian Winters blocking for that running back. So we'll see how that works out for them.
Mike and Keith will call them. Mike and Keith or CJ call them the Hill people.
That's right.
They'll love Brian Winters. And which the best one, but if all works out the way that I expect, he'll probably just be riding the pine over there for them for a while because I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stay healthy or be good enough to crack that line anyway.
Yeah, that could be a very possibility. I mean, he basically is just going to be an overpaid bench warmer, but whatever. All right, so moving on. All right, so Alex Lewis.
Shout out, Brian. I got your back, buddy. I got your back. If you're watching this, I love you, Brian. Don't listen to me.
Brian definitely gets love. Brian's a hog, man. Let's not discount that. Brian's a hog. All
right. So let's move on. And wanted to bring up Alex Lewis. Okay, Alex Lewis, the New York Jets offensive lineman, been incredibly outspoken in his defense of Adam Gase, and also in his defense on a lot of the stuff that was going on with the New York Jets organization in regards to the Jamal Adams incident. As a matter of fact, got the opportunity to speak out about the first-round draft choice, Mekhi Becton. He actually referred to Mekhi Becton, and I quote, as the Great Wall of Green, in which the way that he is absorbing all of the offensive line coaching and so on and so forth. We've seen numerous workout videos of Mekhi Becton posted on social media. He's definitely getting himself into game shape. So just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. We'll start with Jason, and then we'll circle back around to Jax.
Well, I think that Alex Lewis is true proof that we all have good takes and we all have bad takes, right? Because Great Wall of Green, good take. Adam Gase defense, bad take. And, it's all good, man. Alex Lewis, his heart's in the right place. Because you know what? There's not a person on this planet that's more outspoken about his disdain for Adam Gase, right? Like, so I am, like, I flew planes over New York City that I wanted the guy fired, right? Like, but that said, I think it's refreshing and a good thing. See, like, at the end of the day, I want to be wrong about that take. I want to be the biggest idiot on the planet that everyone's like, haha, there's that idiot that flew a plane. Meanwhile, the Jets just won the Super Bowl. That's like the best case scenario. Right. I'd be that idiot. So, like, I'm rooting for Adam Gase, and I want the players to support Adam Gase, and I want the players to buy in, and I want for them to prove me wrong. So it's all talk until they go ahead and win some games, right? Because if they win games, Adam Gase is going to keep his job, and we're all going to be happy. And if they lose games, Adam Gase is going to get fired, and none of us are going to be happy. So besides that, it's all just a bunch of talk. But I love what I've been seeing out of Mekhi Becton. The guy is a beast. I love the interaction. I love how psyched he is to be a Jet. It's really refreshing to see that kind of attitude as opposed to, like, I love Jamal when he was here. He's a great player, but, like, his social media was difficult to take. I mean, even when you love the guy, it was difficult to read. And so, it's nice to see somebody that's kind of humble and appreciative of the opportunity and loves being here. And, you see him interacting with his mom, and the mom's buying all this crazy. I love it. I love everything about Mekhi Becton so far. He's lovable in the same type of way that, like, Quentin Williams was lovable last year when he got here and everything. So, like, I'm rooting for the guys, man. And Alex Lewis, good for you for stepping up for your coach. He's a journeyman offensive lineman that was given an opportunity to play here. He took advantage of it. And I would love that coach too if I was given an opportunity and was brought back for another year. And so, wish him the best.
Jax, what are your thoughts?
Alex Lewis, it's Alex Lewis's job to protect, right? So that's I guess that's what it comes to with the Adam Gase. Even though Jason, I'm with you. I won Adam Gase out here yesterday, so I get it. Mekhi Becton, man. I'm not sure if I've been as impressed, with the draft pick. I mean, I guess maybe since, because it's the first really offensive lineman that we've taken that high. So we're actually looking at the upper echelon of talent within, that position group. If Mekhi Becton is 85% of what it is that we expect him to be this season, the sky's the limit for what it is that we can actually do here.
Yeah.
All right. The sky is the limit for what it is that we can do here. Again, Jason, you said we've been talking about this for 10 years now. Yeah, literally, because we haven't addressed in almost any significant way the offensive line at all. Yeah, we brought the Kelvin Beachums and all that. Yeah, we did that. Whatever. Kalichi Assembly, which I have to be honest with you, that's a really disappointing situation for me, because I thought Kalichi was a monster too. I thought he was going to ball here. The fact that he fell off, that's difficult. I didn't like the Khalil move, so I mean that the recent stuff, we can see, but for years, nothing. So the fact that these guys are in and that even just for Alex Lewis to be a guy that's stepping up to the plate, knowing that now we've got McGovern, knowing that we've got Ben Rotten now we've got George Fant, who still has some question marks, but within the competition for those positions, that's a guy that you kind of want to have to go up against, because he's gonna give you what it is that he's got. And if those guys all come in and give us what it is that they've got, man, and Sam Darnold goes to 2.7 seconds instead of 1.5.
Right?
Can we give him a second? If we give, like I said, and CJ, again, you heard me say this 1,000 times. If we give Sam Darnold another second, that's easily another 3, possibly 4, possibly 5 games, depending upon what the rest of our team can actually do, together. But we don't have that many questions about offense or special teams. Sam Darnold is the guy. We need to protect him. If we get that protection, all of the questions that we have about wide receiver blown up, because everybody's going to eat. Le'Veon Bell, how they're going to use him. It doesn't matter. Give him the ball. He's going to make plays because he's got protection. Sam's got protection. You know, in a vacuum, those things they don't look all, you know, spectacular. But put them together. If these guys do what it is that we need them to do, I'll wrap this up. We're going to ball, man. We're going to ball, and that's, you know, that speaks a lot to San Francisco not being able to come in here and just expecting that they're just going to win.
Right. Well, you know, we've talked about this for many, many weeks, you and I, Kevin, and probably for years on end. We've talked about the battle in the trenches, you know, and that's where games are won and lost. And the Jets, unfortunately, have been losing a lot of the battles in the trenches because they just cannot protect their quarterback. So, you know, for those who still want to rail on Sam Darnold and put a big question mark on top of him saying, well, we don't know what he is yet and this, that, you have to take into consideration that any good quarterback needs a good offensive line. Now, I know that there are some fans that are going to say, well, good quarterbacks don't need a good offensive line to protect them because they make the guys around them better. Here's where I disagree with that point, okay? Right. Here's where I disagree.
I can't even take that take seriously. People are nuts.
Right. Like, don't be that guy, please.
Right. Because if you put Tom Brady behind the New York Jets offensive line, he's going to get killed. You put Peyton Manning behind the Jets offensive line as it was constructed last year, he's going to get killed. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people want to bring up Deshaun Watson and want to bring up Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Well, Patrick Mahomes, great football player, incredible quarterback. Also had the benefit of a very good offensive line in front of him. Take the offensive line away from him, Patrick Mahomes maybe still puts up numbers, but not as high as he did with a good offensive line. Take a look at Josh Allen, the glorified running back who plays quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Okay? The Buffalo Bills went out and spent what? Almost $70 million on an offensive line last year, translated into a 10-6 record and a playoff berth. Okay, and Josh Allen's numbers actually improved from the year before. Okay, proof positive that when you go and you put a good offensive line in front of a quarterback, they can be productive. Okay, so hence all of those people that want to say, well, Sam's not a great quarterback because he doesn't make the guys around him better, you know, that's a hunk of bullshit. And I call shenanigans on that.
Yeah,
So in plain English, now that Joe Douglas has gone out and put together this offensive line, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they gel, which actually will segue into my next segment here. The offensive line has been using very, very creative measures to get together and also to build some team chemistry. And they've also been spearheaded by one quarterback, Sam Darnold. Me personally, I'm very impressed about this because you have your franchise quarterback who's so motivated and just chomping at the bit to get this season underway, to go out there and to just find a way to wash off the stink of last season on some of the bad games that he had, plus also build on a lot of the successes that he did have last year, and to prove that the 6-2 last year wasn't a fluke. Okay, so with that being said, I'm very curious to hear what your gentlemen's thoughts are. Same rotation. We'll start with Jason, and we'll circle around back to Jax.
Well, look, man, I mean, that stuff is all great, and we love to see it. I mean, it's definitely good for building chemistry and stuff like that. But, I mean, remember Jets West with Mark Sanchez and getting the guys out there. And that was all great until the team wasn't winning. He's still doing that stuff. And, you know, all that stuff is you definitely want to see your quarterback being a leader and stepping up and setting things like that up. I mean, that's a great thing to see. But again, just like with the Adam Gase stuff, it's like at the end of the day, you got to win games. That's how you build a culture. That's how you become a leader. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, you have to win games. That's how you get fans off your back. That's how you get ownership off your back. That's how you get the media off your back. That's how you get the monkey off your back. That's how you get every possible thing that you want to remove and take the next step as you got to win games. And, you know, like if they go 10-6 this year or 9-7, even 8-8, you know, that'll go a long way. I mean, you know, obviously if they go 9-7, Adam Gase ain't going nowhere. You know, they go 10-6, Adam Gase isn't going anywhere. They go 10-6, Sam Darnold's not going anywhere. If they go 2-14, you're going to have a lot of chatter from a lot of Jet fans and a lot of media people and everybody that they should take that first round draft pick and go get a quarterback, right? And then you're going to be starting from scratch all over, and you're probably going to have a new head coach, a new quarterback, and we're back to square one again. So it's like, you got to win games, man. You got it's been a decade. The time has come to win games. Like, it's nice to have all these camps and all this, Alex Lewis talk and all that other stuff, but go win some games. Just go win some games.
It's really simple. Jason, I just refer all of my questions to Jason because he's basically just kind of saying what it is that I'm thinking. This is weird, but 10 years of neglect on an offensive line, and Jason said something earlier about since Bill Parcells has been here, and how the further away we get from the type of leadership that creates that environment for this team. If I was just to kind of, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this, but the fact of the matter is that we are now just really kind of seeing some of the foundational pieces being laid right now. And I think that really at this point, we're going to have so many questions. Just like you've heard me say this before too. It's another unfortunate side effect of hunger. We're not ourselves. We're all pissed off. We're all angry. We're all having these weird ass takes about different players and who should we bring in and should we pay Clowney $15 million and all of that. I don't think those are really smart moves. I think what it is that we're seeing right now is something new. I think it's something that hopefully within the next few years we'll see as being the beginnings of maybe some respectability for us. I'm sick of being a laughingstock in the offseason. CJ, what do you say in the intro? The jet tax, all of that, and being a laughingstock and big boy. We need to be an organization. And I think right now that's what we're seeing happen. I think we're seeing those steps being taken. And it's going to be weird in between because nobody's ever really seen it done, or it's been a while anyway. And, a lot of the folks that are really going to be the ones that are going to be talking most loudly about it now, maybe they haven't been around as long as we have, so
right.
They're going to say some stuff that's going to piss the folks off. But, I'm just excited about where we're going. Like I said, I don't want to get too far off of where it is that we're at, but the cohesion that I'm seeing, just to kind of go back to where we started with the Alex Lewis point, the cohesion that I think that we're seeing, that's what it is that we hope that it's like in the building. We hope that the pieces as they come in, they attach themselves to everybody else just like that. Mm-hmm. The one Just Drive video that they struck a little while ago, McClendon, man.
Oh, beast! I love that guy. Love him.
Man. I want that guy on every team right now. That's the kind of guys that you want to have. And to the point about us losing Jamal, McClendon's the leader, man. That's the leader right now.
Oh, I could have told you that from being in practices, man.
Yeah.
That guy's on people's asses. And McClendon, make that guy, like, when he retires, because he's obviously not getting any younger, when he retires, make him a coach. Can we keep that guy around?
Keep him in the building, right? Yeah.
Keep him in the building. I don't care what you got to do. Whatever job you got to give him, keep him in the building because, that guy wants to win. Like there's guys I really genuinely feel like don't care if they win or lose. It's a job to them. They want to get their paycheck and go home. They don't love the game. You saw it with Mo Wilkerson. You saw it with a couple of the guys. They couldn't be bothered to show up on time to practice. Couldn't bother. Once they get paid, some of these guys, it's like I've made it. My life dream is filled. I just looked at my bank account and there's $25 million in there and I'm good. Whatever happens. So but McClendon's not that dude, man. McClendon. He's all about, he wants to win a championship and he doesn't care. And obviously the chips are stacked against him with, being a Jet for the tail end of his career and everything that's going on. But he's not giving up.
Maybe not. Yeah,
well,
but maybe not though either.
Maybe not. They're going to have to get it done pretty soon. He's 34,
Right.
But look, end of the day, I just want to get this out before, because I started down this path a second ago, but look, here's what matters with the Jets, right? I feel like we're in really good shape in two key positions. I think we finally have the GM that we've needed, right? And this is coming from one of the more negative fans out there that has been just irate with a lot of things that are going on. I love the quarterback and I love the GM. And typically, if you love the quarterback and you love the GM, you're not that far away from success, right? So we gotta give some time for the quarterback and GM together. And that's why I hate all these damn articles that are coming out that are saying that this is a make or break year for Sam Darnold. Like, to me, like, if Sam Darnold isn't working out with what we have right now, it's not because of Sam Darnold, it's because of Mike Maccagnan, all the pieces that they put around him, and the coach that we put around him, and the coaching staff that we put around him has not been able to get what Sam Darnold is capable of. We've seen what Sam Darnold is capable of, right? So I want to see, no matter what happens this year, I want to make sure that we don't go down that line where fans start calling for Sam Darnold's head. To me, he's 22 years old, 23, whatever he is. Like, that's crazy talk, man. Like, let's tone that down, and let's let him and the two most important positions on the team, most important people in any building in the NFL is GM and quarterback, because you can always replace a head coach, right? But you can't always find a franchise quarterback. And if you have the right GM in place that can put the pieces around, I feel like we're not that far away, man. I see a light at the end of the tunnel finally as a Jet fan.
Great point. Great point. And I'll say the reasoning becomes a lot easier if the team doesn't do well to then say, let's give up our 2 firsts and a third, and let's go get Trevor Lawrence next season. The reasoning becomes it becomes a little easier if the team isn't
really
kind of doing well. So I'm just saying you know that's not coming from me. I'm just saying I understand the bizarro world that can be social media, especially just Twitter. Are you kidding me? Facebook?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Come on now. I'm not even going to try to explore, but that is not that far fetched, and that's because you're going to start hearing that soon. If the team doesn't play well, if we get to that first 4-game stretch and we haven't won at least 2 games, if we're at 1-3 or 1-4,
guys, I think that's really a significant. Like, if I had a bet, I say they're not doing any better than 1-3 in those first 4 games. And then we got a problem on our hands.
And that's the expectation, and that's what I'm saying. When that happens, because I do believe that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to be hard to not hear that. You feel me? It's going to be hard to not have that be what it is that takes over, and that's what's going to be the headline.
I'm ready for it.
We need to reel that in. We need to reel that in, please. Yeah.
I just don't understand why at any point any Jet fan is saying that they want Trevor Lawrence. I mean, look, yes, he's a good quarterback. Yes, we don't know if Trevor Lawrence's skill set is going to translate over into the NFL. Okay? I mean, look, we're still saying the same thing about Tua Tagovailoa, okay?
Yeah.
Over in Miami. Okay, he just came off a major surgery. Who's to say that his skill set is going to translate into the NFL? If that kid gets hit by a 320-pound lineman, okay, is he going to snap in half like we watched Trevor Siemian get snapped in half by Myles Garrett? I mean, it's one thing to say, well, hey, we watched this kid play really good in college, and we think that he can do well in the NFL. Matt Leinart played pretty good in college, and he didn't translate over very well. Ryan Leaf played pretty well in college, and he didn't translate over to the NFL. So,
look, I mean, it's a crapshoot, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, drafting quarterback's a crapshoot, and so if you do go 2-14 this year, or something like that happens, what I'd prefer to see personally is, let's say we somehow got the number 1 pick in the draft and we were sitting there in a position to take Lawrence. I'd rather trade that pick to somebody who needs a quarterback, because I feel like we already have one, and take all those pieces. We already have 2 first-round picks. You trade down, and then you can load the roster up around Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Especially next season when the draft is going to be looking the way that it is.
We already have 2 picks. Imagine you trade down and get 2 more. Oh my God!
Mm-hmm. Think about that. So you're talking about 7-8 picks possibly within the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Let's go. Yeah,
do it.
And with Joe Douglas, not Mike Maccagnan drafting, let's do
Exactly. That's the point.
That's how you build a team.
That's the point.
Right. So it is what it is.
It's a perfect storm for all that to happen. And again, that's why I kind of want to reel this in again. I keep saying I want to be cautiously optimistic, because I think that we can play well. But the cards are there, and we need to be realistic. We might really struggle, especially if we consider that Adam Gase is still the coach.
Well, who knows? Adam Gase could end up being Doug Peterson 2.0 because look, not a lot of people liked Doug Peterson when he. True story. A lot of people did not like in Philadelphia. A lot of people did not like Doug Peterson when he took over as head coach. They were trying to run him back. They were trying to run him out of town. And you know what? He ended up winning the Super Bowl for them. Now everybody loves Doug. They love them some Doug Peterson. Yeah. Now, not that I'm saying by any stretch of the imagination that Adam Gase and Doug Peterson should be mentioned in the same sentence. Let's reel that in, okay, a little bit here. Let's reel that in. But what I'm saying is that it should Adam Gase have some moderate success this year, and the New York Jets can, in fact, make the playoffs, given the schedule that they have, okay? It is very possible that the team could go on a potential of a run. All you need is a spot. All you need is a chance to get you to the postseason. Okay, we watched teams that had no business being in the postseason go and end up in the Super Bowl. Okay, so there is no reason why this New York Jets squad, if Sam Darnold is playing the way that he's fully capable of, if this offensive line can come together and they can block for Sam Darnold, if Le'Veon Bell can channel the Le'Veon Bell when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, if the New York Jets wide receiving core can be better than expected, and if the New York Jets defense can bend but don't break, regardless of missing a C.J. Mosley, regardless of not having a Jamal Adams in the lineup, if other players can come up and to step up, okay, absolutely no reason why this team can't go 10-6, get in the playoffs, and make some noise.
Let's go. Listen, man, you got me fired up. I'm not as optimistic as you. I love your optimism. I'm not as optimistic as you are. But I will say this. I said this already. I've said this on my Twitter, and I'll continue to say this. And Kev, you can jump on with me as well if you'd like, man, because it sounds like you don't like Gase just like I don't. If the Jets make the playoffs this year, I don't care what the scenario is. They can make 8-8, 9-7. If the Jets make the playoffs this year, in my own pocket, I will put a billboard, a digital billboard outside of the stadium, apologizing to Adam Gase and having some fun with it. I promise you that. I put my stamp on it. I promise you that. Look. I'll have fun with it, and I will root for the guy. I already am rooting for the guy. That's the thing that a lot of Jet fans don't understand. Like I fly a plane over New York that says fire Adam Gase. That means that I'm rooting against Adam Gase. I'm rooting for myself to be wrong and for Adam Gase to prove me wrong, because that would mean, you know what? Yeah, I'm an idiot for my terrible takes. We all have terrible takes sometimes, but at least then I get to enjoy football again, because I haven't had that in a decade. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I have a bottle of hot sauce that my cousin sent me that I would love to bust open for the crow sandwich that I will eat if Adam Gase does end up making this.
We all would. Oh my God, it would be such an epic day on Jet's Twitter.
It would be a special occasion. I'm telling you right now. I season it up well and I take a big old honking ass bite, because that is where I would love to be wrong about that. That's the one thing I swear. If I'm ever wrong about anything, I want to be wrong about Adam Gase. I just don't think I am.
We all want to be wrong about Adam Gase, Kevin. Because we've said it so many different times on this show. We've said it so many different times on other shows that we've appeared on. Look, we're not the biggest Adam Gase fans. We really did not like the way that he was brought in here. Okay, now, if this season goes sideways, I have to believe that Joe Douglas will do something about it and make a coaching change.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I highly doubt that should the Jets go 2-14, that Adam Gase survives this, especially if the offense is as lifeless as they were last year, and Sam Darnold looks like he's actually regressing instead of progressing.
Does he finish the season?
Oh, he'll finish. Right. They're not going to.
Yeah, and that I think is. And maybe it's just I like I said, I don't want to overreact to this, but I think that could be bad for us. I'll just be honest. To allow him to continue to do the damage that we actually see him already kind of doing. I mean, and it's not so much that, if people are getting worse, they're not getting as good as they're supposed to be getting. And that's where and if he's just going to continue to stifle that growth, if he's going to continue to make it difficult for those players and for those those situations to develop, that's hindering us, man. And I would hope, and I mean, just if it really gets that bad, I would hope, the Johnsons, have the balls enough to allow Joe to snatch him. I really do.
Well,
but I mean,
they may have no choice because I mean, look, if Joe Douglas, if the New York Jets were for some reason to really just absolutely capsize this upcoming season, I mean, I'm talking like 2-14, 1-15, 3-13, whatever. Okay, if this team truly capsizes, the defense is a sieve, the offensive line is just, it's not even as, it's worse than it was last year. Okay, although you think that it probably couldn't get any worse, I'm sure it probably could be. Okay, but look, barring like 50% of the team just completely being injured, a COVID outbreak or whatever, Adam Gase is going to have to seriously probably be the worst coach in the NFL to get fired this season. But if the Jets record reflects it, that he does only manage 2 wins or 3 wins against his schedule, and the team looks like it's heading backwards, then yeah, it would probably behoove Joe Douglas to make that move. And I hope that the Johnsons would give Joe Douglas the blessing to go ahead and to make that move. But I don't know. I think this has the potential to go the other way, where if Gase can finally learn from his mistakes and finally be the coach that we all hope that he's going to be, Sam Darnold takes that next step, the offensive line does what it's supposed to do, and the Jets put a few more wins on the board than they did last year, then look, you know, we may be having an entirely different conversation at this time next year. Who knows?
I hope so.
So now some good news on the New York Jets injury front. I did want to bring this up. Both Avery Williamson and Joe Flacco received some very, very good news. Joe Flacco will probably only be out, worst case scenario, week 1. Best case scenario could be back. They're talking about maybe week 2 or week 3. So his neck injury is healing, which is a very, very good thing for the New York Jets backup quarterback situation. And of course, Avery Williamson coming off that ACL injury that he suffered. Right now, all signs point to that he will definitely be starting week 1. So just wanted to get your thoughts about that really quick. Jason, we'll start with you, and then we'll circle back around to Jax.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you my thoughts on Flacco right now. After I drop these thoughts in here, man, unfortunately, I have to run because a little bit of an emergency popped up. But, dude, it's nice finally, I feel like, that the Jets have a competent backup quarterback, man. Like, isn't it a miracle how long it's been? Think about how long it's been since we've had a guy that you feel like you're comfortable if the starter goes down. I mean, McCown was that guy, I guess.
Yeah, McCown. Brunel. Going back there.
Yep, Uncle Josh.
Brunel. I mean, it was McCown. Yeah. McCown was a good backup, but really, I mean, McCown was really the starter, right? I mean, you had Sam kind of, come in his place. But look, end of the day, it is nice to have a guy like Flacco that is a Super Bowl champion. And I think Joe Flacco doesn't get enough credit. I mean, I know that a lot of people think he's kind of a scrub and stuff like that, which I don't understand how he got that label. That dude kind of like, if you watch the way that he performed in playoff games, like he outplayed Tom Brady. Like that actually happened. Like we've seen that on the field, and he's won big games playing really big time football. Now he obviously he's not Tom Brady, right? But you can get a guy like Joe Flacco on your team to be your backup quarterback and impart some wisdom. I know that he wasn't a big fan of trying to mentor a young quarterback in his last spot. But I think that's a different situation here, coming in knowing he's the backup as opposed to coming in, to Denver when he was thinking he was, he had that starter position locked up and everything. Yeah. So, you hope that he can heal up. That neck's all right. We've seen a lot of neck injuries recently, with Bilal. We saw one, a couple of Quincy and all that stuff. I mean, that's not a good situation with neck injuries. And you got to see how those heal. But from all accounts and everything, he seems to be healing really well. And, I am excited because, look, we've seen Sam go down and we had no chance. We had no chance with Simeon. We had really no chance with Falk. I mean, it was a joke what we had going on in there last year when Sam went down. So having it shored up in that spot right now is definitely ideal, especially when you consider, God, with everything that's going on with the COVID and everything that's going on in the world and everything, you're not going to have, if you had a rookie backup quarterback or a young backup quarterback, you know, you'd be in a really serious disadvantage in that spot, as even opposed to previous years, because usually a backup would get, you know, a ton of reps in preseason games and everything, and you're not going to get that this year. So,
yeah. Jason, man, we really appreciate you coming on, man. Really, thank you. Again, I know you got to get ready to go. You want to give out?
I'm so sorry, guys. I wish I could finish up with you guys. I'm you know, so a little bit of a situation popped up here. I'm trying to deal with it while I'm on the phone with you guys. I don't see you running around in the background. So, but I'll definitely, I would love to come on again, guys, and you know, you guys do an awesome show and everything, and we'll catch up real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for hopping on with us, Jason. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your guys' time.
All righty.
That'd be good.
All right. Yeah, Jason kicked ass tonight. So that was awesome. We appreciate Jason coming on. Yeah, really hoping the best for him in his future endeavors with Mr. Gary V over there. Still look forward to interacting with the guys, Kevin and Tyson and my man Big Ty over there also at Let's Talk Jet. So really appreciate Jason coming on tonight. See, I guess if I could just go ahead and wrap this up with the Joe Flacco comment.
Do it. Go for it. Floor's yours.
Yeah, well, you know, I was a Joe Flacco fan when he came out. You know, my friends and my family will tell you, I thought that the kid was going to ball, and he did. Rookie of the year, I think, offensive rookie of the year that season in Baltimore. Really looked like they had the guy. So, yeah, he's been, you know, maybe not a flashy guy, but he's been an upper echelon quarterback for quite some time. And, you know, in top 5, top 10, no, maybe, you know, around the bottom of the top 10 area, possibly, depending upon the production that he's had. But for him to be in this position, I think it's a great opportunity for us. Excuse me. You know, Jason made a great point that, you know, issues with one to be a mentor, but before I wouldn't necessarily. That's not necessarily something that I would be confident and be comfortable with. So this is going to be a great opportunity for Sam Darnold to really have an opportunity again. I know he picked up a lot from Josh McCown, but functionally, Joe Flacco is a much better quarterback as well as a much better mentor because he's got championship pedigree. It's going to be a great opportunity for Sam. I really love it. I hope, you know, everybody else has an opportunity to see why, you know, in practices, or, you know, I would hate to say that we ever want to see him in the game, but the fact of the matter is I think that he's still got enough in the tank where if we needed him to win a game, I think he could do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, look, the New York Jets backup quarterback position has been an absolute travesty over these past couple of years. You know, last year it cost us 3 games that probably if we would have had a competent backup, we probably could have won maybe 1, possibly 2 of those games. And look, as long as number 14 stays healthy and we don't have to call upon Joe Flacco to come in and to kind of, you know, hold the seat warm until Sam is able to come back, you know, I'll be extremely happy with that. But it also gives me a little bit of comfort knowing that should Flacco have to come in, we have somebody who's competent, who can go out there, run the game plan, run the ship, and be a game manager for us until Sam does get back. Hopefully, knock wood, we don't have to experience any Sam Darnold mono injury, ankle injury, or whatever. So that's really my biggest take on it. Just being able to get Joe Flacco back there behind Sam Darnold will give us that added layer of sense of stability a little bit within that backup quarterback situation. So
most definitely.
With that,
at least we hope so.
Yeah, at least we hope so. So with that, really quick, just want to give a shout out to the Ain't Easy Being Green podcast, one of their members, Mr. Keith Farrell.
Congratulations.
He just got married over the weekend. Congratulations to him and his new bride. Boy, she has no idea what she's getting herself into, but you know,
I hope she does. I hope she does because I mean she's cool, and I mean he's got a great one. Hey, yo, congratulations to both of you guys. If either one of you are watching, both of you are watching, congratulations on you guys. Really, thank you. I got a little breaking news, right? Just popped too. college football canceled for 2020. Did you see that? Did that come through on yours?
No.
It's saying that it's saying that within the next 72 hours, it looks like the possibility is they're going to shut it down.
Wow.
Man, 2020 is 2020 is up there with one of the worst years. Can you imagine?
Man, that's just completely unbelievable. So I mean, for the 2020 college football season to be shut down, it's going to be very interesting to see what next year's NFL draft is going to look like. And now, we're hoping that the NFL can definitely get their season off the ground, and we hope that the NFL's COVID-19 protocol plan that they have in place can actually be executed, and we do not end up losing football this season, because it looks like that, the team, it's kind of funny, but the NHL and the NBA are really enjoying success this with their playoff runs and playing games and so on and so forth because of the bubble. Now, I know we're kind of running up against it, and I know this is probably a topic that we could do a whole show on, and we are definitely going to revisit this topic in the future, but do you really think that the NFL could actually function in a bubble format? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes. It's complicated as hell. You know what I'm saying? It is complicated. But we're also talking about a multi-billion-dollar business. And I'll just be honest with you. This is a situation for me, and again, we could do 2 hours on this one, okay? Because this is something we could talk about all day. But the fact of the matter is that this is going to be a really difficult season for players. It's going to be a difficult season for fans. It's going to be a difficult season for business owners. But I'll just be perfectly honest, and I'll shut up after this. I think the business owners have a responsibility, maybe within this situation, and to go above and beyond for us. To go above and beyond for their players. They are the ones that really have all of the money. And yes, a business, they want these guys to put their lives on the line, basically, to entertain us. We want them to put their lives on the line to entertain us. But it's the team's responsibility to make those things happen. And if they really want to make money, they need to spend it. And if they want to spend it, they can do the bubble system. They can make it happen. They just have to be willing to spend the money.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that a bubble format in the NFL is incredibly feasible. I just think that for them, they would have to shake up the schedule, where I think the NFL regular season schedule would kind of have to go out the window. They would end up obviously having to split the country in half, where having, East Coast teams kind of stay within the East Coast within a bubble format. And probably maybe break up the country into quadrants, where, believe it or not, we would end up having, the New England Patriots, we'd have the Buffalo Bills, we'd have the New York Giants, we'd have the Pittsburgh Steelers, we'd have the Philadelphia Eagles, we'd have the Washington football team. They could, all of those teams could make up one bubble. The teams in the South, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints could also function as another bubble. So just true to name, I think that
crossing.
Right.
I think there's a lot of options to that point, CJ, and I hear the wheels turning right now, and I know because there are options, and we could be creative and we can be intelligent about how to do it. It always comes down to what are they going to do.
So this is probably going to be the strangest football season that we've ever seen, probably since the NFL strike in the early 80s, and they played with replacement players. I think this is...
It will be. It will be.
So, and watch, this will be the year that the Jets win the Super Bowl, and everybody will say it's a fluke. Because that's just what would happen. Right?
If our team is good enough to win the Super Bowl this year, our team is going to be in a better position to win the Super Bowl within the next few years. So, they can try to delegitimize it if they want to, but the fact of the matter is that our team is, looking like it has the makings of being, a well-run organization. If that's the case, then you really can't. You can't discount it and just expect that we're going to be and put a whooping on you. That's the expectation right now. Within the next few years, we'll see. But yes, this year and next year, just imagine that. This is not going to be over in one season. Over the course of the next few seasons, protocols are going to change. Safety is going to be different. How we interact, how we spend money. The concession experience is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
a lot of this stuff is going to change. We just, right now we have to be open-minded to it, but we also have to be concerned and we have to be smart. And again, we have to, kind of put the money behind the innovation that it's going to take to make it happen or to make it possible. Right?
Yeah, the NFL is definitely going to have its brain trust sit down and really think about how it's going to function over the next 5 years, because unfortunately, COVID's not going away. So, and for right now, a lot of people could dismiss it and say, it's COVID is definitely having an effect on professional sports. Doesn't matter who they are. It's having an effect on our way of life. It's having an effect on everything. And the world as we know it right now doesn't exist anymore. Because we now have to think of a world going forward with COVID and thinking about things that years past we've always taken for granted. So, but again, it's going to be very interesting to see how the NFL can navigate it and whether or not they could actually make it function, because baseball's operating without a bubble, and they're suffering right now. So they've had a couple of outbreaks and they're suffering. So, but we'll see. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for tonight's episode of Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast. I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in and who listened to us live. At Spotty Blackman. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, by all means, be sure to go and check us out on Facebook, on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Be sure to go and check us out on a lot of other profiles as well. Spreaker.com, Sports War Radio. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. There are a ton of different places where you could go and check us out. So anywhere you get pods, guys, anywhere you get pods, Spotify. I was using that a little while ago. I know they're everywhere. Basically, just rock with us. You bet. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Kevin Jackson on the other side of the glass, this is CJ the Painkiller D. Simone signing off. We will see you guys when we see you guys. Peace, love, go Jets. Yes. And take care, everyone.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.